We are now live. This is Dre all day, coming to everybody live. Tell me your name and location as you come into the stream. I got to get us a minute or two for Instagram to notify. They're telling my followers I have started a live stream, so as y'all come in, tell me your name and location. Names and location as we get into it on this Sunday evening. Hope everybody's doing amazing. It is 6:22 Eastern Standard Time, Sunday, February 9th. You may be watching this on replay. J Nonsense, what's going on? Tell me where y'all checking in from. Those of y'all who are here. Somebody asked me about trying to get into the NBA D League. What are you talking about? I don't know what you talking about, man. No, I ain't trying to get in nowhere. Jennifer in Miami, what's going on? As y'all checking in, tell me your name and location. Name and location. Somebody asked me about the NBA D League. They don't even call it the D League no more. They changed the name like 3 years ago. But as y'all come in, tell me your name and location. This is Dre all day. I will update everybody as to who I am and what I do, because obviously somebody here has no idea because they just asked me a question that don't make no sense. But we're going to clear everything up for everybody. Everybody going to be clear on exactly who you listen to and what we're getting into here today. Jariah from Cleveland, Joey from Mountain View, California. Shout out to Mountain View, California. Who's out there? I think YouTube is based in Mountain View, California. I think. Manor, O'Roy, you probably know. Austin checking in from Indianapolis. Shout out to Indianapolis. I was out in Indiana. When was that? Last time I was in Indiana was 2015. I was training some kid. His mom paid for it. So shout out to the moms paying for their kids to get their game up. And shout out to everybody who moms and dads didn't pay for you to get your game up like me. You had to get it out. You had to get it from zero. But anyways, y'all come in, tell me your name and location. We're going to get into the teaching, the training here tonight. The live stream I'm doing tonight. I wish Instagram would allow you to put titles, for what y'all doing. Checking in from Salem, Oregon. What's going on? Justice checking in from Salem, Oregon. Sybil checking in from St. Lucia. Shout out to St. Lucia. Wait, where is St. Lucia? Sybil, tell me where that is again. I think you told me that before, but I forgot. So as y'all coming in, tell me your name and location. My name is Dre Baldwin. Some people know me as Dre all day. I'm checking in from this right here. This is Miami, Florida. It's Sunday night. Is it good? According to this watch, it is 73 degrees right now. It's in the 70s all day, but it is kind of breezy here today. But shout out to everybody who's checking in. Listen, for those who don't know, again, my name is Dre Baldwin. I'm a former 9-year professional basketball player. Played 8 different countries internationally in my career, coming out of a D3 college. I am now an entrepreneur. I was an entrepreneur even then, but I'm an entrepreneur now full-time. Dallas, Texas was good. I'm an author of 25 books. I'm the creator of this philosophy. I was in the Caribbean. All right, shout out to the Caribbean. I'm creator of this philosophy called Work on Your Game, which is about taking a pro athlete mindset and teaching how it applies to business, sports, and life. I do that through video, like live streams and YouTube and master classes and group coaching that I'm going to be offering. Coming up this week, I was working on the page today, so it's coming out very soon. I do that through audio. I have a daily masterclass that some of y'all will find in a podcast app. It is called Work on Your Game, and I do that every single day. So if you like what you're about to hear, you will love the podcast because I put more detail in it, more preparation time into it, as opposed to this where oftentimes you're going off the top. But I'm so good at going off the top that I still give immense value, more value than 99% of people out there. And I do it through written material such as books like The Mirror Motivation and the other 24 books that have my name on the cover, because I'm the author of 25 books and I got at least 2 books coming out in 2020. That's a guarantee as long as I'm allowed to get them. I got at least 2 books coming out in 2020, so please stay tuned because it will help you more than it's going to help me for you to read those books. Now, with all that being said, what we're going to get into here tonight, we're going to get into the ways that you create new value. And this is something I'm going to be talking about. I'm going to go deep into and make sure everybody who's in my group coaching, when I put it out this week, you'll hear about it very soon. I ain't going to let the cat out the bag too much, but I'm going to tell y'all, this is something I'm going to go deep. What up, ARB, checking in from Toronto. Shout out to Toronto. How do you create new value? Because these days, listen, how many people we got doing stuff like what I'm doing right now, writing books, blogging, YouTubing, influencing, whatever the hell they call themselves doing. We got a lot of people putting stuff out. Big Black Wolf, what's good? You already read The Mirror Motivation? All right, then get the other 3 to come in the Bulletproof Bundle. Mental Handbook, Super You, 100 Mental Game Best Practices, and get my book, Work on Your Game. We'll talk about all that later. But since so many people are putting out content, so many people are influencing, so many people trying to be out there and be somebody with the content they're creating, how do you create new value and actually, create the value within yourself so that people are looking at you instead of looking at him, her, them, and everybody else out there. I'm going to tell you exactly how you do this. There's only 3 things you need to do. First thing you must do, you must earn new knowledge. How do you earn new knowledge? It's a very simple process. You earn new knowledge by getting real life experience, meaning you got to be 10 toes down in what you're doing. Go out there, do it. Note what's taking place. You got to put some time in, be there, note what is taking place, and then based on what you have learned, you can tell other people, this is what I went through, this is the way that it goes, this is what I learned, this is what I would do differently. If I had to start over and do it again right now, here's the things here's how I would change things, here's what you need to understand, here's what I thought, but then when I got into it, here's what I actually found out. These are here are the roadblocks that you need to look out for. Here's like 5 different things that you probably wouldn't know if you didn't experience it the way that I did. You see how I just gave you 10 content ideas right there off the top of my head? You can take that and apply it to any experience you've ever had in your life, and you got 10 live streams, 10 chapters of a book, 10 blog posts, 10 podcast episodes. I just gave it to you right there off the top. All right, this is what I do. All right, not only do I do it myself, but I show other people how to do this. And if you want to learn how to do this for real, again, go to workonmygame.com, get on my email list. When I drop this group coaching this week, everybody cannot get in. It's only for a small group. It ain't for everybody, but you'll know about it. But again, the first way that you create new knowledge is you must get experience. So let me tell you what you can't do if you want to get experience. All right, let me tell you something that a lot of you are doing, but you cannot do to get new experience. This is something that does not count. You can't get new experience from sitting on your fucking couch. You can't get it through Instagramming. You cannot get it through reading social media or consuming what somebody else said or watching what somebody else did or talking about what somebody else already talked about. You cannot get new experience just from observing or watching. You can't get it passively. You know what I mean when I say passively? That means you doing anything other than actually living it yourself, getting real life experience. In order to get, and anybody who got questions, I'm going to take those at the end. So if anybody posts a question or a comment or a concern, complaint, criticism, I will address those at the end. So if any of y'all who don't know, that's how I take questions. I take them all at the end. So you must go out there and do stuff. Last week, those of you who've been following my story or you've been following me on IG for any amount of time, you know last week I was at a conference. And I take the experience from that conference, even though I wasn't speaking at the conference. I was actually at 2 conferences. I spoke at one and I was an audience member at another one. But even the one where I was an audience member, I'm taking the experience of being in the audience, and I could take stuff that I learned from sitting in the audience and I could create new value out of that. Like, all right, here's the way this person put their presentation together, or here's what was common through all the people that presented, or here's what the best presenter was doing, here's what the worst presenter was doing, and here's what you can learn when you juxtapose what the best guy did and the worst guy did. Here's what I learned about the people who showed up. Here's what I learned about meeting people who come to these events. Here's what I learned about, if you're going to stay at the venue, you're going to stay away from the venue, about getting food, about meeting people, about how to introduce yourself, about how to brand yourself so that people get interested in who you are when you meet somebody at the sandwich shop line in the middle of the event. All of these things you get through having your feet on the ground. You got to have boots on the ground and actually be out there doing the thing to create new value. We call this earning your experience. You earn experience by actually going through experiences. Today, right here in Miami, was the Miami Marathon, 2020 Miami Marathon. And some of y'all might know, many of y'all don't. I run the Miami Marathon twice. I ran it. It don't even seem like it was a year ago, but last year I ran the Miami Marathon 2019. Was it last year? Yeah, last year's marathon I ran, and I ran the 2017. So I did 17, I skipped 18, I ran 19, and this year I didn't run it. I don't know if I'm ever going to run another marathon. We'll see. But the reason I'm telling you that is to tell you this. I could do a podcast episode and talk about the parallels between running a marathon and building a business. I could talk about how going through a marathon is the same mindset you need to get through a marathon is the same mindset you need to build a career as a professional athlete, even if you're not a runner. I can talk about that. Why? Because I have the credibility of going through that experience in my real life. All you heard this phrase credibility, right? You know what that word means? If I had to just summarize it really simply without looking up in a dictionary, credibility is the fact that you actually did the shit that you're talking about. That's what credibility means. Knowledge or understanding means you might have read a book, or you listened to a live stream, or you know somebody who did the thing, or you was around it, or you watched it, or you have front row seats. That's knowledge and understanding, meaning you saw it and you could kind of explain it. Credibility means you did it. You were actually there. So I got credibility when it comes to talking about running a marathon. I got credibility when it comes to building a brand, when it comes to creating a business, when it comes to writing a book, when it comes to going and doing a speaking gig and leveling up from doing it for free to doing it getting paid. I got credibility in all those places because I've actually done it in my real life. And therefore, because I have credibility, you will listen to my information. See, we don't want to hear information from a person who didn't do the thing that they're talking about. See, I could go read 20 books on running a marathon and I can have a pretty good understanding of it, right? If I'm smart enough to I could take notes on it, write down everything, that all the relevant points that I heard. I could put together a nice little outline and I could go talk to y'all, do a live stream about, yo, this is what you need to know about running a marathon. But the question you're going to ask me eventually, maybe very shortly, you're going to be like, yo, how many marathons have you run? I mean, you talking about it. When did you run a marathon? Which marathon did you run? When was it? What was it like? And if I can't answer that question, I didn't actually run one, but I'm giving you all this information about doing it, you're going to be like, yo, why the fuck are you talking about some shit that you never even did? It doesn't even make sense. I wouldn't even think to do that, but this is what some people out there are doing. They think that just because they read about something or they heard about something or because their man did it or your cousin did it or your girl did it or your husband did it, that means you're qualified to speak on it. This is incorrect. You cannot talk about something unless you have actually done it. You don't get credibility unless you got 10 toes deep in the game doing that thing. So if you hear me talking about anything, I don't care if it's in a caption on one of my posts, on Twitter, on here, on stage, in a video, if you ever meet me in person, I only talk about the shit that I actually do. I don't talk about nothing that I don't do. And you shouldn't either. The problem with many people out there who want to build a brand and build credibility is you ain't doing shit. So therefore you can't talk about nothing. Therefore you don't have an audience because you can't talk about nothing. You can't share anything with the audience because you haven't done anything to share. You got to be out there doing something to share with other people. I heard a wise man once say, heard this wise guy say, you cannot give if you don't have anything. You got to have something if you're going to give. You want to give value to an audience, you got to go create some value. So I just told you the first way you create value is have your feet on the ground, go do stuff, okay? Go get experience. Go out there and get your ass kicked. Go out there and spend money that you don't get the return on investment. Go out there and make a bad decision. Go out there and get into a relationship that you should have never got into. Go out there and get in a bad business partnership. Go out there and go through a situation that's like, damn, I knew this was a bad idea. Go do those things. Those bad experiences and the good experiences, any experience creates credibility, okay? And nobody's 100% on experience. Nobody bats 1,000 on experiences. Every one of us has been through bad experiences. The more experiences you've been through, the more credibility you had to talk about whatever it is you want to talk about. But if you haven't done it, you can't talk about it. Don't nobody want to hear that shit from somebody who just watched it on TV. That's number one. Number two, today I'm talking about, for those who came in the middle here, how do you create new value? Second way you do it is learning. So the first way is you earn your experience. Second way is you learn from your experience. And you learn from other people's experiences. But let me explain to you how this works. Because I just told you that just because you read somebody's book or watched somebody else do something or because your best friend did something, that doesn't qualify you to talk about it. What you need to do here is you take what you learn from other people and what you learn from your own experiences, and you must invest time into examining those experiences. So for example, I go through an experience of running the marathon. My experience, I did it, that's cool, but what am I really going to tell you about it? I got to think about it. What did I go through there? What did I learn? What did I not know before I did it that I know now after I did it? If I was to do it again, if I was to run the 2021 marathon, how would I prepare differently for this one that I didn't prepare for the last one because I just didn't know? I was ignorant of how to prepare for it. What would I do differently? I got to ask myself these questions. I got to invest time into thinking about the answers, and then I create new knowledge. I can say to you, okay, now that I've been through this, now that I've gone through it, if I did it again, here's how I would do it differently. And then I got to also take the next step. So that's one step, is I got to examine my experience. The next step is, what if you're not going to run a marathon? What if you don't want to run marathons? You know, my target audience is not marathon runners or people who, just want to run 26.2 miles for fun. My target audience I got athletes, I got business professionals, I have entrepreneurs, or people who want to be one of those three, right? So how can I take the experience of running a marathon and give value to somebody who fits one of those categories? You might work in an office and be 300 pounds. You ain't worked out in 5 years, but you're part of my audience. What am I going to give you about running a marathon? I got to figure out what's the parallel from what I did to what you're doing. I talked about this yesterday a little bit. So this is the extra step that you have to take as the expert. Is your job to build that bridge. Your job to build that bridge from your experience to the other person's experience, or the experience that they didn't even have yet, and the experience that you're having right now. That's what an expert does. Y'all understand this? An expert is a person who can shorten the learning curve of their clients. The client is the person who's under your care. That means they could be somebody who's watching your stuff for free, somebody who bought a $20 book off you, somebody who paid you 20 grand as a keynote speaker or to coach them for a year. Those are the people you need to help them not have to go through all the shit that you went through, because you went through it already. Like Jay-Z said, Hov did that, so hopefully you won't have to go through that. So they're going to, the expert, me or you help the people who you're helping not have to go through the same stuff you went through, because you're going to tell them, oh, watch out for this. Don't make this mistake. Don't fall for that right there. You probably think you got to do this, but you don't. You actually need to do that. Or you think that you don't need to do this, but you actually need to do it. You understand that? These are the things that you as the expert need to do, and you got to draw the bridge between those two things. People like that little reference that I gave right there. I told you I'm nice at this, man. I do this every day. This is how I got good at it. So now here's the third point. First one is you earn your experience by doing stuff. Second one is you examine what you learned. Oh yeah, let me tell you another part about the second point. When you learn from other people. So let's say I'm watching somebody else's live stream. All right, you're watching my live stream right now. I'm going to give you some stuff that maybe you didn't think about before. Maybe I remind you of something that you already knew in the past, whatever. You need to take what you got from me and don't just go repeat what you heard me say, because you're not me. It's not going to sound right, you trying to say what I said. What you need to do is take what you get from me, combine it with your own life experience, and then you create something new out of that. That's your job. And again, that takes a little bit of time investment. It takes a little bit of thinking. It takes a little bit of ingenuity. It's going to take a lot of creativity. But the more creative you get and the more time you invest in it, the better you'll get at doing this stuff. And you'll be able to create brand new knowledge out of damn near everything you hear. Like me, I'm the type of person, people call me a sponge is the word that people use. I'm the type of person who, when I take in information from another person, I don't care if it's in a book, a one-on-one conversation, it could be some random person who boosted one of their posts on IG. I don't even know who they are, but I just read their caption and I'm like, you know what? That's good, what they just said. I take what they said, this little one sentence, I combine it with something that I've been through, and I create something brand new out of that, and then I go give it to my audience. So in that way, it's like stealing, but you're not copying a person. You're taking what they did and you're making something brand new out of what already existed. Because all y'all got to understand that no idea is 100% original. All right, nothing that comes out today is completely brand new. Y'all remember Snapchat? Some of y'all still use Snapchat. You remember how Instagram didn't even have stories not too long ago, and then they just copied Snapchat's whole shit, and now they got this right here, and now most people is using Instagram and not Snap. Snap still got a lot of users, but Instagram has more. They just modeled what Snapchat was doing. They basically copied Snapchat's whole shit. But Snapchat didn't invent having the story thing. They called it a story. They branded it. But other people had come up with that first. Snapchat was just the first one to make it mainstream. Then Instagram took it and they said, well, we're going to do it too if y'all not going to sell us the company. So you got to take what you get from other people or other entities, combine it with your own experience, and make something brand new out of it. Don't just copy what somebody else did. Your energy will be weak because you're trying to sound like them. You try to sound like somebody else, everybody will see through it. Nobody's going to buy into your energy, and you're still going to be a nobody. So point number 3. All right, 1, earn your information, earn your experience. Number 2, examine your experience from what you learn. Number 3, I basically already told you what you got to do. You got to create something new. This is an investment. Investment you got to make of time. How does what I just went through combine with some knowledge that I have to make something new? And who is it going to help, and how is it going to help them? What's the parallels? How can I draw a line from where I'm at to where they're at, or where I've been to where they got to go? All you got to do is find an audience of people who want to go where you already have been, or want to get to where you're already at. And those are the people you need to be teaching. Those are the people you need to be targeting. And you might think, oh, well, I'm not that good. I'm brand new. I only been in this for a year. Well, there's other people who only been in it for a month. And they want to know what that first year is going to be like. That's where somebody like you comes in. That's where you come in with your expertise. So we got earning, learning, combining, and creating something new. We'll call that creating. Earn your experience by going through stuff. Learn, meaning what you went through, you must examine it. You know how they say, what is it that they say? I can't even remember what the saying is. I forgot it. But people say, when you go through experiences, you get knowledge through going through experience. But the thing is, you must examine your experience to get knowledge from it. Just because you went through some stuff doesn't mean that you got smart. All right, any of you know somebody who keeps going through stuff, but they keep making the same mistakes because they don't seem to get any smarter, even though they keep going through the same thing over and over again? That's because they didn't examine their experience. You got to examine your experience and figure out what you did right, what you did wrong and why you did it right, why you did it wrong. Because look, sometimes you might become successful in certain times in life, but if you don't know why you were successful, you don't know what created that success, that means you can't recreate the success. That means you can't do it again. That means you just got lucky. You got lucky to be successful, and you have no idea when you're going to get lucky again. So how are you going to recreate that success? How are you going to stay successful if you just got successful by luck? And sometimes you fail, and you don't know why you failed. You're like, damn, I failed, but I have no idea why. I don't know why that happened, how it happened, what led to it, what can I do to make sure it doesn't happen again. If you don't know, then it might happen again, and you have no idea why again. And now you're just sitting there looking stupid, not knowing why you succeeded or why you failed. So you got to examine what you've gone through and figure out why it's happening. Not just what happened, but why it happened. And when you can understand that, when you can deconstruct your failures and your successes and understand why they happen, then you become qualified to teach other people. Because let me tell you a secret, most people don't take these extra steps. Everything that I'm telling you here, these are things that most people don't do. Everybody goes through life and experiences stuff. Most people go through stuff, say that happened, and they don't examine why it happened. So if you take the extra step of examining why it happened, now you're a step ahead of 97% of people, and now you're qualified to teach them, because now you can help them understand why things are happening in their lives instead of just what happened in their lives. And if you take an extra step after that and say, all right, this is not only what happened, why it happened, but here's how you can recreate that if you want it to happen again, or prevent it if you don't want it to happen again. Now you're ahead of 99.9% of people, because most people ain't taking the first step, let alone the second step. And if we talk third, fourth, fifth, sixth steps, I'm going to talk about group coaching that's coming out this week, please. You could basically train anybody in the world. You can coach anybody in the world. Now all you got to do is put yourself out there so that they know about you, and then you got to charge them, collect the money, and then you give them what they got to get. So with all that being said, I'm going to take some questions right here. So whoever got a question, comment, concern, complaint, criticism, go ahead and post it in the comments. My name is Dre Baldwin, for those who don't know. If you didn't know, this book right here you can get for free. It's called The Mirror of Motivation. It's a self-guide to self-discipline. Go to mirrorofmotivation.com. Let me post that in the comments. Mirrorofmotivation.com. Mirrorofmotivation.com. The fastest typer in the world. You see that? You get that book for free by going to Mirror Motivation. It's the link in my Instagram bio. So now I am reading and responding to the comments that we got in here. Oh, let's see what we got going on. If we have any comments, I think we got a couple. I saw some comments. I don't know what they said, but we'll find out. Buff Coder checking in from Dallas. What's up? Akash F3 says, how do you feel about people who trash talk? I trash talk, so how do I feel about them? I love them. It depends on what they're saying. I mean, everybody talks trash sometime or another. Big Black Wolf says, I'm reading the book David Higgins. I'm reading David Higgins' book right now. I'm going to get your book next, my man. I don't know who David... Oh, David Goggins. Okay. All right, that's what's up. Shout out to David Goggins. ARB, what's going on? Big Black Wolf said, Red Mirror Motivation. Oh, yeah, get Work on Your Game next. Big Black Wolf. Go to workonyourgamebook.com. That's where you can get that book. And I'm going to give you some bonuses. You can't get the bonuses if you order anywhere other than workonyourgamebook.com. Trainer TG says, what would you tell your 25-year-old self based off what you know now? Go to Work on Your Game University, workonyourgameu.com. That's where you can join the game group membership, where I have 1,400 masterclasses. That's 1,400 individual masterclasses. And let me tell you, those masterclasses, every single one of them is what I would have told myself 10 years ago. So that answers your question. Everything that I put out on my podcast is something that I wish I knew before I found out. So that answers that. What would I tell my younger self? People always ask that question, but that's the answer. Every day I'm telling you something that I wish I knew. So all y'all got a head start on me because I'm telling you. Loke D Pop, what's going on? Appreciate that. JA7, Leo HRT, was good. ARB says you got to find a faster way to learn things and teach to others, prevent them from taking the long route. Well, not a faster way, because you got to make a time investment. But once you learn it, you don't even have to be fast. What you have to do is just find an audience of people who want it. So then you can teach 10 people at once instead of just one person at a time. So right now, I'm talking to however many people's in this live stream. And if I put this on YouTube, however many people watch that, and then multiply that by the next, however many years YouTube's going to last, whoever sees that video, they all can learn this. I only got to say it one time, though. Keys to the Court says, how do you keep up with all the water you drink? Do you pour the water out of the bottles, or do you use a water purifier? I have no idea where this question is coming from. All I do is turn on the faucet and I fill the bottle up and I drink it, and then I do it again. Rinse and repeat. Joe Garrett Parker says, for the little story, Instagram, Facebook wanted to buy. Yeah, I know that. Didn't I say that? I think I said that. Ricardo says, Miami looks great. Yes, it does. It feels great as well. Pause. ARB says, we can't find the whys to our experiences. Should we reach out to others? I mean, you can have a coach or a mentor who could maybe help you with that, but if you spend more time thinking about it, you'll figure out the whys. There's no such thing as you can't find the why. You just need to spend more time thinking and considering what's happened and why it's happened. Kiro from Brampton, Ontario. What's going on? Kiro Morcos. ARB says, is it true you were teaching pavement builders? Yes, that is true. I taught a lot of people in industries that many of y'all don't even know exist. But like this work on your game philosophy right here, this applies to anything. Anything where somebody's going to need discipline, confidence, mental toughness. They're going to need personal initiative where you got to keep going even when you're tired, when you got to put yourself out there. You got to fight through things when you don't really feel like fighting through them. Any industry that needs that needs what I offer. So that's why the opportunity is big for what I'm putting out there into the world. And even for whatever you're going to put out into the world, you just need to figure out the formulas for what you're putting out and who it's for. So I believe that's all our questions and comments right here. The Mirror Motivation, Self-Guidance, Self-Discipline. This is the link in my Instagram bio. I am shipping you this book free worldwide so that you can build discipline. You will build discipline so that you can build what you really want, which is confidence and self-belief, which will allow you to do what you want to do in life so you can avoid failure. You can avoid dragging yourself through a life that you hate. So you can avoid beating yourself up. So you can avoid self-doubt. So you can avoid feeling like you're inferior, so you can avoid feeling like you are underachieving in life. If you want to avoid all of that negativity, all you got to do is read this book. And I guarantee within 17 minutes of you starting to read this book, you will start to change internally. That's going to change what happens externally. That's going to change your life as a whole. And it's not a temporary thing. It's a long-term thing. Go to the link in my bio, mirrorofmotivation.com. I'm shipping this worldwide. Just tell me where to send it. I got you. Work on your game. Happy Sunday. Dre all day.